Attack on Titan Season 4 Episode 27, titled Retrospective. In the last episode of Attack on Titan, we had the Jaegerists against the combined forces of Marley and Paradis. With the objective of trying to secure the Azumabito's flying ship being discovered by Floch and the Jaegerists, our group had to abandon their mentality of completing this mission without any casualties, as all hell started to break loose on the dock. Mikasa swooped in, killing multiple Jaegerists to save Kiyomi Azumabito and her people, and we had the spectacular return of Annie's female Titan, as she and Reiner worked side by side to tackle the current threat at hand. And the most surprising and difficult part of the episode was the betrayal felt by both sides, as Connie and Armin would kill their comrade Samuel. It really sinks in when you hear Connie crying at the end of the episode after betraying his old comrades. You realise, yes, he's upset at the fact he had to kill them, but he's also upset at the fact he had to betray them. And with Connie being a person who knows what that feels like all too well, as we've seen multiple times throughout the series, it just makes this scene all the more painful. However, there's no time to mourn as the fight on the dock escalates, but which side will be victorious? So today I'm going to be breaking down and analysing this latest episode of Attack on Titan, while clearing up some things you guys might have missed or weren't sure about. So if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more Attack on Titan content. And just a quick update, we have 2 more episodes remaining for the season, with this one being the penultimate one, and I'm pretty sure that next week the final episode won't air, but it'll be airing the week after, which is on April the 3rd. And even though we are almost at the end of part 2 of the final season, all of the content won't be adapted, so it's either we'll get another part to the final season or a movie. But I'm hoping we get confirmation on their plans for the ending of the show very soon. And just before I get this started, this episode was absolutely crazy. I know I usually wait to the end to say anything about my thoughts, but yeah, this one was one for the books. The action was absolutely insane. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. With the beginning of episode 27, as Daz's body sinks into the water and Samuel lies in front of Connie, we see him and Armin with devastated looks on their faces after killing their comrades. Meanwhile, Annie and Reiner are doing their best to hold off the Jaegerists, and I know this whole final season, well, part 1 anyway, literally kicked off with us learning that the power of the Titans are coming to an end due to technological advances in the world, as we've seen with the anti-Titan rifles, thunder spears, armored trains, etc. Just made me feel some type of way. Like, back in the old days of Attack on Titan, this would have been something you would think was impossible to see, especially with how strong and proficient these two are at using their Titans, but times do change. Anyway, moving on, while Annie and Reiner are fighting the Jaegerists above ground, we see Hange, Magath, Jan and the Azumabitos all together. And this is where our main characters get a shocking reveal from the Azumabito technicians. We learned that for them to finish maintenance of the flying boat, it would take a whole day to complete any repairs, and given the clear importance of the current situation of the rumbling, if they work extra hard and have the equipment they need, they would be able to do it in half a day at best. And as said by Hange, the problem with that time frame is that due to the power and speed of the rumbling and the Colossal Titan's ability to ignore anything in its path, if they don't find another method or means to get to Eren faster, then the rumbling will 100% wipe out Liberio, which leaves Magath distraught at how hopeless the situation is. However, Kiyomi Azumabito suggests a method that may allow a group to at least have a chance at somewhat saving Liberio, and even that chance in itself would be a gamble, since they would have to reach Oldahar, which is a city on Marley, by ship, and service the boat there. And since the city of Oldahar is one of the cities soon to be destroyed by the rumbling, our group really has no time to waste as they make moves to start the journey and inform the others. We then see both sides going back and forth as Reiner, Annie and Magath fight the Jaegerists while protecting the Azumabito crew. And the ODM scenes were really done well here by Mappa. I feel like as time has gone on, they look way more fluid, even with their use of CGI, and the angles we were getting during this battle was really amazing. I always love when we get the POV of people using ODM gear. It's just very immersive and just has a different feel to it. But after everyone's been informed of the change in plans, the dock just becomes a literal bloodbath. Hange and Mikasa are striking down the Jaegerists, and Floch desperately tries to understand their next move. And once he does, he tells the Jaegerists to kill the Azumabito crew, but Annie and Reiner intervene and protect them from the rain of thunder spears. And as I was saying earlier, this episode honestly has some of the best action I think we've seen in Attack on Titan straight up. Definitely in terms of Mappa, but as a whole this episode was outstanding. Even with Reiner protecting Annie from the thunder spears, which would have 100% left her dead if they all connected, the way they had the OST resume when they detonated was a really nice touch, and this wasn't even the best parts of the episode. After Floch realizes that they plan on killing Eren and getting the flying ship ready on the continent of Marley, he tells the Jaegerists to devote their hearts, and rightfully so, since he's kinda speaking the truth when he says that if Eren dies, Paradis will sink under a sea of blood and that the world will want to take revenge on them. The rumbling, despite being heinous and clearly a vile act, is LD's only chance of stopping their enemies from a logical standpoint. Even before Paradis was in this position of being able to protect themselves against the world had it out for them and was trying to wipe them off the face of the planet. So what Floch is saying isn't a stretch in the slightest, and you can visibly see on the Jaegerists' faces that they understand what's at stake. And shout out to Floch, man, and yes, I know I say this a lot, even though he's a very extreme and crazy individual, but if I was in a situation like this, I'd definitely want someone to be as loyal as this man. He's very twisted, but this man's dedication is something else. But moving on, we see Annie and Reiner being absolutely destroyed due to the Jaegerist assault, and Falco decides that he needs to do something, since it's looking very likely that these two will die if he doesn't intervene. So we see Falco running into the battle, despite Pieck's warning that his first transformation will go very bad. Shortly after this, we see Connie dragging an injured Armin to Magath as he prepares to defend the ship. So everyone's just getting involved in the battle at this point as the stakes keep rising. As Falco prepares to turn into a Titan, we see Annie and Reiner on their knees since they have no more energy left to fight. And as the Jaegerists prepare to kill them, Connie emerges from the smoke and kills multiple Jaegerists in his path. And I know I keep talking about it, but the ODM scenes, man, is just... Mappa just went crazy with them. But Mikasa backs up Connie as she flies onto the roof, taking down the Jaegerists in her path, with Jan playing support as he snipes potential threats, saying that if he hesitates then his friends will be killed. Pieck even joins in on the battle as she bursts through a building to attack the Jaegerists, and Floch, being very aware of the deteriorating situation, once again spurs the Jaegerists to move forward and fight to protect their country. The voice acting was really amazing, might I add. Then as things look like they can't get any more hectic, since this is an all-out war at this point, Falco runs out and transforms into the Jaw Titan and lets out a massive roar that can be heard throughout the whole battlefield. Honestly, they made his transformation so dynamic. The way he emerged from the light reminded me of Ymir's first transformation back in season 2, and the way they slowed everything down just to add more impact to the scene was beautiful. I love when they do that in shows, and Mappa makes really good use of that direction, as seen with this moment and when Eren got decapitated by Gabi a few episodes ago. But moving on, the newly transformed Falco wastes no time disposing of his nearby enemies while looking absolutely epic doing so, and the battle starts to turn in favour of the combined forces of Marley and Paradis. Then we have one of my favourite scenes this entire episode. Heck, the whole episode was a spectacle, but the way they did this man Floch was absolutely wonderful. Not only did we get to hear Ashes on the Fire again, but if there was any time in this series Floch seemed like the main character, it was here. And I honestly just can't help laughing because it's Floch, but the tension made it seem like this was a fight out of Dragon Ball Z or any show where you have the last man standing against the impossible odds or the final boss. It just looks amazing. His last thunder spear. And honestly, with this whole sequence, if you weren't rooting for Floch, I don't know what's wrong with you, because give this man an award. But just when it looks like Floch has defied all the odds and made the buzzer beater for the Eldian Empire, Gabi snipes him in midair, which slightly throws the aim of his thunder spear off, protecting the bow and saving the mission, as we then see Floch fall into the ocean. But with Floch's defeat, the Jaegerists lose their only chance at winning, and Mikasa takes out all the remaining Jaegerists on the roof. And I keep saying this, but I don't know what Mappa is doing today. Like, they just keep going crazy with these action scenes. Mikasa was literally out here doing Tekken combos, fatalities, and dramatic finishes. Like, she literally blew this man up with his own thunder spears, and then stood still as a blood shower rained down on her after the explosion. Mappa was just going above and beyond with this episode, which made it all the more enjoyable to watch. And I know I'm only doing my breakdown / review of the episode, but I just hope I'm even giving a decent representation of how amazing the action was today with my commentary, so that one person is watching this before watching the actual episode. However, things aren't all good for our group, as Falco starts to rampage in his Titan form, coming close to eating Pieck, but thankfully General Magath manages to cut him out of his Titan form before he kills her. And as the majority of our group gets on the boat on the way to Odaha, Magath stays behind to take down any stragglers. Here he meets Keith Shadis, who followed the group after he noticed them departing Shiganshina, and on his way here, Keith took down all the Jaegerist reinforcements, which is the main reason why our group even stood a fighting chance. So as Magath prepares to blow up the ammo supply, which will destroy the Marley and cruiser and eliminate any means of pursuit for our group, the two discuss their thoughts briefly before they die, with Keith Shadis expressing his proudness towards his students for making such a bold decision to stand up against their own people to save humanity, and Magath expresses his regret in how he treated the warriors / warrior candidates, and how he wishes that they could have lived normal lives, which is something that's been coming for a while now, as we've seen with his actions in past episodes, but he finally lets his true thoughts be known moments before his death. And as these two veterans exchange names, with nothing but the utmost respect for one another, we watch on as the ship blows up. And even though the episode technically ends there, we have a scene after the ending where we see Hanji explaining the situation to Annie and the other residents of Liberio, that it's over for Marley and that it will be destroyed by the rumbling, but despite that they still need to fight, and that's what Magath sacrificed his life for. Even if it was to save one stranger's life, the rumbling needs to be stopped. Which then led to a heartfelt interaction between Annie and Mikasa, where Annie says she doesn't want to fight anymore, which is understandable after she learned of her hometown and her father's likely demise. And with that being said, we come to the end of the episode. Episode 27 was hands down one of my favourite episodes this season, and honestly it might even be top 3 for me this season. The character interactions were amazing, the actual action was spectacular, the ODM scenes were great. It was just an amazing experience all around. So I'll definitely rate episode 27 a 9/9.5 out of 10. And this just honestly makes me more excited for the final episode of this season, which will air in 2 weeks. But what did you guys think of the episode? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And comment your favourite part of the episode too, since I'd love to hear what you guys enjoyed the most. Also, if there's anything I didn't go over in my breakdown that you wanted elaboration on, be sure to comment it down below and I'll do my best to respond. Like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, since we are most likely going to hit 10,000 subscribers in the next few hours, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.